Secret with you. I am a very, very, very lousy cook, but I love good food. So tonight we're going to talk to you about how you can actually make it work for you, even when you're running an amazing, busy business. Hi, I'm Yvonne of Amaze Yourself Coaching, and this is the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. There are so many experts out there that always tell you how to do things. And I don't know about you, but I used to suffer from the shiny object syndrome. Everything seemed great, but I didn't know where to start. And in the end, I had everything and I didn't do anything. So this show is about to share with you the experts themselves who let you in on their little secrets, how you can learn from them and take it so you are actually in the best shape to run your business smoothly and with more time. And today I am very, very excited because I have Linda here with me. That was until I pushed a wrong button. There we go. And I have Linda here with me. And I really am excited about this because, like I said, I can't cook for the dear life of me. But Linda, you know everything about it, right? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
So can you please introduce yourself to the people that are watching?
Absolutely. So my name is Linda Lederman, and I'm the owner of a business called Balaboosta Secret. And I'm a kitchen confidence coach. And basically what that means is I teach busy women who are extremely successful in every aspect of their life, except when it comes to putting dinner on the table. And we all have to eat, and our families have to eat. And why is there that disconnect? So I'm here to help you connect the dots and help you get dinner on the table done with ease, speed, yum, and most importantly, a lot of fun.
I love that. I love the yum and a lot of fun part because that's the other side. I can't cook, but I love food. So there's a bit of a mismatch, right? So tell us, why do you do what you do? How did you start?
Sure. I'm going to go back to the very beginning. When I was in high school, my mom was a terrible cook. And I told her, Mom, I'll clean up my language, but your cooking is terrible. I wasn't as nice when I told her that. And she said, okay, big shot, you do the cooking. And she bought me a book called The Joy of Cooking. And back then it was a humongous dictionary-sized cookbook with no pictures. Well, I'm going to confess right up the bat, I need some pictures because I had no idea what I was doing. But the pressure was on, and I couldn't make anything that to her or to me was ordinary because that would defeat the purpose. So I would look for things that were just exotic to me. So the first night I made Swedish meatballs. Now that may not be exotic to you, but I had never seen them, never tasted them, but it said Swedish. So that was so out of my realm of knowledge. Well, I will tell you, because there were no pictures and because I didn't know what I was doing, it was awful, awful. The next time I had to cook, I made veal cordon bleu. I'm probably saying it wrong. Doesn't matter because I made the dish equally wrong. Horrible, just awful. By the third time I was required to cook for my family, they banned me. They said, don't let me cook anymore. Stop, it's awful, we're dying here. Okay, so I'm not one to be defeated. I don't take no for an answer. And I took it upon myself to learn how to cook and learn how to cook really well. And it didn't have to be fancy and it didn't have to be complicated. It just needed to be delicious. Fast forward a couple of years, I became a lawyer. I was working crazy hours. I started a family. I was feeding my kids at what felt like midnight. And I knew there had to be a better way. And so I went out to figure out how to do that. And that's how I came up with being a kitchen confidence coach. Because if I could learn the skills to streamline what you need, get those delicious meals on the table easily and happily, I knew there were other people out there who needed the same skills. And interestingly enough, the studies show that when kids have a sit-down family meal, they do better in school. They're less likely to abuse illegal substances. They have better social skills, better communication skills. And why wouldn't you want to do that for both yourself and for your family?
I love that. I love that. Now, I am like your perfect client, right? Because I'm busy, I run my own business, but I have a family. Now, I must admit, I also am, I married a cook. So I have.
Okay, you're cheating.
I know, I have less of an incentive to start cooking, but let's forget that a small fact. So my initial thought is, where do I find the time? Because I'm so busy, and cooking, I hear you talking about a cordon bleu, I hear you talking about Swedish meatballs. Well, then of course I think of IKEA. I don't know about, but where we live, IKEA is the Swedish meatball specialist.
Yes.
But where do I find the time? Because that's the one thing I think most people struggle with.
Okay, so I'm going to backtrack from the time to get you to where you find the time.
Okay.
When I work with my clients, the first things I have them do, there's a couple of things I have them do. Number one is take a look at your calendar, because you don't want to be cooking something elaborate if you are going to be working late, or you have business meetings that are scheduled or that you have to prepare for, or your partner is not going to be around to keep the kids a little happy while you've got to do what you do. So just like in business, know what's on your calendar, because that's going to dictate everything you have going forward. And just like in business, you plan for your meetings, you plan for your presentations. You have to plan a little bit. And truthfully, I'm not a big planner. I used to like to think of myself as spontaneous, but it doesn't really always work. So with a little planning, you could figure out how not to cook from scratch every day of the week and still have great meals. And that's part of the trick. There's no reason why you have to cook from scratch every single day to have good meals. And how do you do that? Well, first, you need a good batch of recipes. You can start with what you know how to make. Make a list, make your list in terms of what the proteins are or how long it takes. And then you could say, well, what could I make and make a lot of some of that ingredient and reuse it differently another day? So I'm not starting from scratch, and I'm almost made another dinner without doing a whole heck of a lot of other stuff. And I'm going to give you an example of something like that. Now I'm going to go back to meatballs, but I'm not doing Swedish meatballs. I make a spicy Asian meatball for my kids. I use turkey meat, ground turkey, but you can use meat, you could use pork, you could use chicken, whatever kind of ground protein you want to use. And I'll make it with some fresh ginger, some fresh garlic. I use lemongrass. If you don't have that, you could use some lemon zest if you want to do that. I put in a hot, spicy sauce in it, mix it with my hands because I like to play, and I'll put it on a sheet pan and I'll bake it in the oven because I don't want a clean splatter from something cooking in my pan. So I'm saving down on my cleaning time as well. Bake them in the oven for 15 minutes. They're done. Simple. So what I'll do for my side dish, maybe I'll steam some bok choy, make it with some garlic and ginger, a little soy sauce. Takes 5 minutes, easy. And I'll make a big, big batch of rice. More rice than I need. If I'm really smart, I'll make more meatballs than what I need. So that first night, I have the rice, I have the bok choy, I have the meatballs. Delicious. Everybody's happy. Now, if I am lucky enough to have leftovers, I can crumble those leftover meatballs the next day, get some lettuce leaves, put a little Houston sauce. You don't even make it. You can buy it from the grocery store, and put the crumbled meatballs on top. Totally different dinner, totally different flavor. Took me 5 minutes because I had the base of it already done. I could take the leftover rice that I made on another night and use it to make fried rice, because the secret with fried rice is you need at least day-old rice. Boom, I have it. I'm already halfway through my dinner. I can take maybe I'll make my fried rice, and if I have leftover chicken from another dinner, I could have chicken fried rice for dinner. Or I could put a couple of shrimp in the oven or in a pan or on the grill and make shrimp fried rice. Maybe I have leftover bok choy, or I'll use a different green. So now I've got done 2 or 3 meals with not a whole lot of cooking. So that's a tremendous time saver. And that's what I teach my clients on how to do it. If you use the right recipes and learn how to reuse them, then you're really saving a whole lot of time. And each one of those meals takes less than 30 minutes to do.
Linda, it is dinner time here. And I'm gonna eat right after this show, and I go like, oh my word. Well, I was listening to you. I was like, "Oh, that sounds nice. Lemongrass and ginger. I like that." And then I was thinking, "Oh, I think so." That's also a bad example. But I was thinking immediately, "Oh, I need to show this to my husband." So I totally understand what you're saying, and I really, really like it. So I love the fact that you're also saying I'm not big on planning, because I'm not big on planning and I like to be spontaneous. But we all know, like for example, in my calendar, Tuesdays and Thursdays are swamped. Those are my lengthy days. I have the majority of my coaching sessions on those days. Whereas Mondays and Wednesdays are more relaxed, and Friday afternoon I don't work. That's my time. I go with my girl and we have drinks on a terrace somewhere. So I totally hear that most of us have similar schedules where oh, that night is difficult because I'm seeing clients or whatever, maybe you're going to the gym. So I like it that you're saying it, but I also like the fact that you're saying cook a bit extra, but immediately implement it in another meal, because that's where it often goes wrong, because we don't think about that, and then the food gets to waste, so to say.
And
Um,
also, a lot of people don't like to eat their leftovers exactly as they had it the night before.
True.
And if you have kids who are, I don't like to call them picky, I'll call them selective, but they might not want to see it again. So if you know how to repurpose it, it's a real time saver, and a real money saver, because you are not wasting food at that point.
Yes, yes, I like that a lot. I like that indeed a lot, because it's such a, there's too much food that goes away, actually truly as a waste. Yeah. So, we are in the Be the CEO of Your Life show, and that's something that I really believe in and stand for. It's all about working less and living more. So, and I think I already know, but tell us, how are you, Linda? How are you the CEO of your life? How do you embody that?
I make my priorities and I try to keep them. I don't want to say I'm a slave to my business or I'm a slave to my family, although many times I feel like I'm a slave to my family. But you have to balance. And I think, as in any part of your life, whether it's work, play, your spiritual life, whatever you're looking at, you need balance. And unfortunately, some of that balance comes with planning. So if you know how to structure your day or your time a little bit, again, I told you I don't like strict planning, but I like to plan intelligently. So I can do things, and maybe I have to make something in a big batch of food and freeze it for one of those nights where I'm going to be running late or I'm going to be busy. Or maybe there's something that my kids can defrost on their own and do it if I'm not going to be there. So it's a little bit of planning, but it doesn't have to be, the whole month planned out. That would drive me nuts. But if you want to learn how to do that, I can help you. It's just not my style. So what I like to do is find my client's individual style and what works best for them, because everybody's different. Their schedules are different. Their skills are different. Their patience is different. And I like to tell people, to get the biggest bang from your time when it comes to cooking is have a well-stocked pantry, have a well-stocked refrigerator, have a well-stocked freezer. So it's know what you have, know what you need, and know how to use it. And when you have all those things in place, and that really applies to all the aspects of your life, but when you have those in place, you can save your time, you can save your energy, and you can up your happiness quotient tremendously.
Yes. And for me, it is really, food. Well, I don't want to say everything because that sounds a bit desperate, but it's very important, especially in our lives. And I have to laugh because we just moved, and we have one room where we like to sit as a family. And then my husband made a new table, but it turned out a bit bigger than it was intended. And actually, it's like truly big in the room. So I said, well, it's a lovely table because it is, but it is a bit big. And my daughter said, that's just fine. There's more room for food.
I love that.
I think that kind of sums it up. And one of the things I love from living in Spain is that, there's a lot of tapas. And I just love how you share that, and you talk a lot, and you eat a bit of this and you eat a bit of that. I really, that's why I why I can imagine one day maybe I will try cooking, because it's such a lovely way to connect, and to really have those conversations. I also like the saying. I think it's my husband who kind of lives by it, but he said, "No good story ever started with a salad."
There you go. That's a great saying.
Yeah, I
You know,
really.
you know, I agree with you. Food is such an important part of our life. We celebrate births, we celebrate anniversaries and graduations. We do, mournful things too with food, but it's always, always about food. And I'm a big believer in that you can make the ordinary days extraordinary with what you do with your food and with what you do with your dinner time conversation, because it's such a key part of your happiness. So you don't want to make a meal that finally you figured out what to make and you get it on the table and you turn to your spouse or your partner and your kids and you say, "How was your day?" And they say, "Fine." And that's the end. You've got to be able to tie everything in almost in a holistic way so that the meal time is what's meaningful and the memories you create.
Yes, I love that. I love that, and I think you, for me, are the great example of truly, working less and living more by what you do. So, if people, are watching, where can they connect best with you?
Sure. I have a website, balaboostasecret.com. I have a Facebook group, Easy Weeknight Dinners for Busy Moms. That's a really great place. You'll see on the screen, I have a free handout for everybody for easy one-dish dinners. If you sign up for that, you'll be on my mailing list and you'll get my wonderful words of wisdom and delicious recipes.
I love that. And just so I'm just going to ask the two questions that might be totally silly, but I just want to know. So the first one dish dinner. How does that? Is that like I cook it in one pan? What do you mean by that?
Yes, easy cleanup. One pan, one pot, or one sheet pan. So you
Okay.
can make a sheet pan dinner, and all you have to know is your cooking times more than anything else. So you
Right.
can, let's say you wanted to do, I'll make it easy, chicken breast, barbecue chicken with broccoli and roasted potatoes. If you
Mm-hmm.
know how long each one of those takes to cook, all you need is one sheet pan. You put the longest ingredient on first, calculate backwards, the next one when the buzzer goes off, and the third. So all your things are on one sheet pan, cooking together, and you have one sheet pan to clean up. You want to save your time. Any place in the process you can save it.
I love that. I love that. And the next question I have is the name of your company. Where does it come from? What does it stand for?
Sure. So a balaboosta is an old-fashioned Yiddish term. And you say, nobody speaks Yiddish anymore. Why would you even name something like that? Well, it means a woman who makes a fine home. Now, my definition of a fine home is not a Martha Stewart home. My fine home is, come on, I want you to be feeling warm and welcome in my home. Put your feet up if you want to. You don't have to always have a coaster under your glass. You're going to have fun conversation, delicious food. There's going to be warmth and laughter and clever conversation. That's the kind of home I want. It's the kind of home I want my kids to grow up in. And I want it to be the kind of home that they want to make for their families when they grow up. So I lead by example. And I think everybody's got it in them to be a balaboosta of their own home and their own life, to live the best life and have the best home that you can possibly have for the most enjoyment, warmth, and love.
Wow, I think that is a great note to end with today. To really underline once more, it's all about working less, living more. And if you want to know how you can incorporate good food made by yourself, I highly recommend you connect with Linda either on Facebook or on her website. But I really recommend it is because you heard today there are so many ways that you can put on the table delicious food and still save time. Linda, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's really a pleasure. And I really wish happy cooking to your audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.